Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with your hot take on, the GameStop rebellion update, I guess you would call it. That's what Tim Pool's calling it. Google deletes almost 100,000 negative Robinhood app reviews. And I believe Apple did something similar because people are angry at Robinhood. They are very angry at that app. I was approved and trying to get my bank hooked up to it, and then I read all these terrible articles about how they, first off, they stopped allowing people to buy certain stocks, including GameStop, or they limited it very much, and then they actually forcibly sold people's stock, which that's outrageous. They should not be allowed to do that. I hope there's a big lawsuit. GameStop Robinhood Revolution. Stock frenzy echoes anti-establishment anger behind Trump rise, analyst says. This is from USA Today, getting just a glimmer of what's happening in the world. So I guess it's because hedge funders are the targets here that some people on the left actually can get behind this. It's about time. It's about time. Now, if only they could see Trump in the same sort of light. Robinhood caps maximum holdings in 36 stocks to just one share. So, yeah, I guess that's what they decided to do. So their hedge fund buddies wouldn't lose as much money. They're still losing a lot of money, though. Billions. And I find it hilarious. And that's why I was trying desperately to get myself back online with the stock stuff. But, hey, they just want to get you every way. And then I signed up with a different one for, like, cryptocurrency. And then by the time I signed up, Dogecoin disappeared from their list. And I'm like, where the heck is Doge? That's the whole reason I signed up. I wanted to get some Doge. Where's my Doge? So I'm not sure what the next thing is. Not that I'm offering you any financial advice. I am not a financial person. I'm very poor. You should definitely, I mean, of all the things you should not listen to me about, financial advice is on the top of that list. Still, it's hilarious. SEC publishes statement on short squeeze insanity will protect investors from manipulative trading. Yeah, I'm sure you will. And when they say investors, they're talking about the hedge fund guys, I'm sure, not any of the little guys who decided just to buy some GameStonk. So it looks like they're coming down on it, but you know, the GameStoppers are still holding the line, meaning they're holding their stocks, and so they are, I think they've kind of leveled out. Last time I checked, it was like 112. Down pretty far for if you bought it at like 350 or 450, but these guys, what a bunch of sore losers that they would do this. It just shows you where the money is. The game is rigged. We all knew this, but now people are. It's like a splash of cold water in the face. You know, it's now they're really seeing it. When the mask falls off, it's like whoa. These people are tyrannical. They want to be the nobility. They want you to work. They want to be rich and do nothing. Meanwhile, a New York Times reporter accused of using the N-word, other racist and sexist remarks, on 2019 educational trip. Let's see, he works for the New York Times. He was reportedly disciplined. Oh, how interesting, for using the N-word. I wonder, somebody outside of the New York Times, perhaps somebody who was, I don't know, in any way connected to Trump or Republicans, or just not connected to the New York Times. I wonder what their fate would have been had they done this. I wonder how many twidiots on Twitter would hunt that guy down and not stop until he was obliterated from his job, from society. Oh, but New York Times reporter, he was disciplined. Those are naughty words. And that's it, apparently. I mean, this is the double standard. Now, I don't care that this guy said some spicy words. Oh, a trip, who cares? I mean, maybe he's a jerk. I don't read the New York Times. I don't put any stock in it. I don't put any stonk in it. And I believe in freedom of speech, and he's free to be a racist dirtbag if he wants to be. But to have the New York Times treat their reporters with kid gloves, and he's not the first New York Times reporter to say racist stuff and just slide on it. There was that woman who, I forget what part of the Times she worked for, but man, she would go on Twitter and say pretty damn nasty things about white people, and it was just like, whoa, lady. It was weird too. She seemed to be going out of her way to say that kind of stuff. Very angry, sounded very racist to me. I don't even think they took down the tweets, and I don't even think she was disciplined. So there's two standards there, right? So for guys who make a bunch of money at the expense of hedge funders, well, they get called racist and bigots, and they get attacked, and the government looks into it. Oh, but see, New York Times reporter, I mean, where's the big cry of hate speech? It's everywhere but on the left, where actual hate speech exists in much bigger forms now. Now, you don't have to just take my word for it. Ask anybody my age or older how it was in the 70s and 80s, right? You know, the kind of people who would use this kind of language typically were, well, they were either just ignorant. A lot of times they were just ignorant. But a lot of times, you know, they would be rightish. And, yeah, people went after them. But it's like, we're trapped in this world in which that narrative has been cast in iron and refuses to change. Doesn't matter how many times Antifa screams the N-word at black police officers. It's always somehow somebody else's fault. It's never their fault. And the opposite, you know, you have people being lumped in with white supremacy who have nothing to do with it. And it's made that entire distinction almost pointless now. You know, there was a time, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, if someone was accused of being a white supremacist, you just recoiled in horror when you read about it and thought, oh my God, well, I'm certainly not going to be giving this person any of my time, or, you know, you believed it because that was such a heinous accusation. You wouldn't think that anybody in the world of newspapers would just throw that around spuriously, you know, just willy-nilly, because they would be sued to bejeebus. And, you know, you just don't accuse someone of that. That is like accusing someone of, you know, the most heinous crimes you could think of. It is a devastating blow to their reputation. So when you heard that accusation, you would assume, and it was normally true in the 80s, you 9 times out of 10, it was, that guy's a racist. He said these racist things. Oh, that's terrible. Now when I hear that, who cares? You have to look to see who said it. And even if it's in a newspaper or media outlet, newspapers really don't exist, you have to check it over and over again to see if there's any truth to it whatsoever, because the accusations thrown around so willy-nilly now. Everybody's a white supremacist, according to these lefties. Everybody. It's in everything, everywhere, all times, at all places. There's nothing you can do to avoid it. So shut up and take your, label. And so now the words mean nothing. Congratulations, radical leftists. You've eliminated racism, I guess, by making the world incredibly more racist. And here's another guy. Ex-FBI lawyer spared prison for altering Trump-Russia probe email. Here's a guy who's working with the FBI. I guess he's not in the FBI. FBI lawyer, he's kind of in. He altered an email. He altered evidence in one of the most important legal proceedings in the world, in history. He is spared prison. Ricky Vaughan, a guy who makes memes, is facing 10 years in prison over a meme, over internet stuff. Oh, because Hillary Clinton voters could have been misled. Could have been. Maybe. Possibly. We're not sure. But since it's possible, since they were Hillary Clinton voters, send in the FBI. Meanwhile, there's still a video on Twitter where a bunch of, I can assume, leftists did the same thing against Trump supporters. That video still persists. No one is investigating those people. No one cares. No one cares when they scam Trump voters. No one. Rules for one group and not for the other. That's where we are. You're either on the left, where all the rules apply to other people, or you're on the right, where, well, I guess all the rules apply to the conservatives. None of the rules apply to the lefties, or wokies, as James Lindsay calls them. Will Dems send domestic terrorists Tucker, Rush, and Levin to Gitmo? The Department of Homeland Security has issued a National Terrorism Advisory Bulletin, even though there's not a clear and present danger to America. This is at WND, Todd Starnes. In reality, the alert is simply the government's way of shutting up anyone who disagrees with the Biden administration. Quote, information suggests that some ideologically motivated violent extremists with objections to the exercise of governmental authority and the presidential transition, as well as other perceived grievances fueled by false narratives, could continue to mobilize or incite or commit violence. The bulletin reads, could, maybe, pre-crime, thought crime. We're on it because it's against Joe Biden. Oh, when it's against Trump, oh, Joe Biden's son has a laptop full of possibly illegal pictures and evidence suggesting that he's a Chinese shill. Let's sit on it for months and months and never do anything. Oh, wait. Some idiots got waved into the Capitol and walked around and maybe stole a few things. Let's call it an insurrection and hunt down everyone who even went to a normal protest. The DHS doesn't have any information to indicate a specific credible plot. So why? Why are you doing this? However, violent riots have continued in recent days, and we remain concerned that individuals frustrated with the exercise of government authority and the presidential transition, as well as other perceived grievances and ideological causes fueled by false narratives, could continue to mobilize a broad range of ideological motivated actors to incite or commit violence. For 8 months that happened, and no one did anything. Where was the FBI on Antifa and BLM? Nowhere. Where were the arrests? Trump had to practically push federal agents and pick up their hands and make them put their hands on Antifa and grab them and put handcuffs. I mean, like, he wanted these people arrested. We all wanted these people arrested, except the idiots doing all the arson and looting. Oh, but the FBI, what can we do? We're just the FBI. We're helpless. So, I have, unfortunately, no doubt that the heroes, and I call them heroes, in the GameStop rebellion will be tracked down and punished if they can possibly do it. They're kind of being punished now. They can sell their shares, but they can't keep buying them. And I would be one of those guys, if I could, get on a damn app that would allow me to buy some freaking stock. Finally wanted to get in. You people won't let me in. So, I salute you, heroes of Wall Street bets. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. So do most people. Because we all hate those hedge fund a-holes. And if you're going to have a protest, if you're going to have Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street 2.0, please take the protest in front of the Federal Reserve and watch everybody pee their pants.